Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Zach, your host here on the YouTube channel, known as the YoBro Nation YouTube channel. I thought I had a cup of water over here. Apparently I do not. But welcome back. First off, my apologies for the absolutely super late Backlash review. I've been working on a roof for like 3 days. And yesterday was the last day. We tried to get everything done so that I didn't have to worry about coming back later on. So, you know, that's just kind of how that happened. So I didn't get home till late, and then my girlfriend didn't get back. She was going to watch it with me, so we ended up missing it. I promise next time it won't be an issue. What is it? Extreme Rules is the next pay-per-view? Goodness gracious, help me. But enough with all of that. But I am here. I do want to say thank you to, everybody who has been out supporting the channel. I can never tell you all thank you enough, but I'm not here to get all sappy and everything, but I'm here to review Backlash. So Backlash, being built with the tagline, the greatest wrestling match ever, Edge Randy Orton. Did it live up? I don't really know. So we'll figure that out as we go along with this. But the show in general, I think, was a really good show. I really do. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. So this is your Backlash review for yesterday, which was June 14th, 2020. The show kicked off with a match that I didn't even remember to talk about in the preview and predictions. That being Sasha and Bayley versus Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss and the Iconics for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Yeah, I forgot to even put that in my predictions video. Why? Because I think that's just how irrelevant the championships feel to me. If I'm just to be honest about it, I feel like they are a couple useless titles that have no purpose. I would hope that Bayley and Sasha make these titles more relevant, but I guess that'll have to be seen if that can even be done. But this did start off with an interview with Bayley and Sasha, basically just trying to pick fun at them to, ooh, are they, aren't they? Are they going to be friends or are they not? Both of them saying that, they're pretty much unstoppable. Bayley wanted them to be introduced, properly as the, first and greatest women's tag team champions, and her as Bayley Dos Straps. So, yeah, that was their interview. Now, the match itself, it was an okay match. It was decent. A lot of back forth, a lot of, double team moves between the different teams, and a lot of stare downs, stuff like that. So, like I said, it wasn't a bad match. It was what it was. Had a series of pin attempts by Bliss, Sasha, and Peyton Royce at one point. All three teams brawling, some back and forth. Bayley and Sasha end up clearing the ring. What the hell am I even looking at? The Iconics end up. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm tired. So Bayley and Sasha end up clearing the ring of everybody. They break up the Iconics finisher, and then actually hit that finisher, the running knee. The finisher of, I don't even know if they have a name for it, but they hit that, and then they only get a 2 count. Alexa Bliss gets a hot tag. She's on fire, taking pretty much everyone out. Her and Sasha are on the apron fighting. Peyton Royce comes through with a crossbody through the middle of the ropes, knocking them down on top of everyone below them on the floor. You get a nice double team move by Alexa and Nikki Cross. It was like a flapjack DDT type finisher. Alexa Bliss does go up top, hits Twisted Bliss, pinning, going for the pin. Sasha then rolls her up for a 3 count to win the match for Sasha and Bayley to retain the titles. Yes, clearly this is all still set to help build up to their inevitable split, which is coming. Okay, I'm just ready for it. This is years in the making. The match is okay. I didn't mind the match. I'm cool with, the finish. I think the right team won, so I'm all cool with that. They show Braun Strowman pulling up in his beautiful car. Windows fixed. Then they announced that the winner, if John Morrison or The Miz win, the winner of that actually will be champion. So a little information we get there. We go on to Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy commentary says that he wants to be a beacon of hope to fans and people who deal with addiction. This match was hard to watch. They're talking about this being, I guess, a redemption story for Jeff Hardy. But if I'm being honest, watching it, it felt nothing like a redemption. It felt like they were going out of their way to embarrass Jeff Hardy in this match. Sheamus, of course, used his power out of the gate. Jeff, trying to wrestle him down, didn't quite work. Sheamus with a lot of just big, hard strikes. Hardy, though, does start working over the knee of Sheamus throughout this match, working it over. Huge clothesline from Sheamus and then a nice uppercut. Hardy, though, continuing to try to fight back, keep into the match. Actually running and jumping off the steps, diving onto Sheamus on the outside. Gets some more big elbows by Sheamus. And then hits a front suplex, dropping Jeff Hardy's lower part of his body and his knees on the top of the ring post. Sheamus, though, continues to wear down Jeff Hardy. He gives him back-to-back Irish curse backbreakers, puts him in a side headlock. Hardy fights out of that, hits a big knee to the head. Hardy then gets a 2 count. Hardy, though, again, fighting out of another side headlock, hits a belly-to-back suplex for only a 2 count. Hardy then gets clotheslined straight out of his damn shoes. Sheamus, though, coming off the top rope, misses, tweaks the knee. You get a whisper and a wind for a 2 count. Jeff Hardy starts to build some momentum. Hardy goes for the twist of fate. That gets countered into a roll-up for a 2 count. Jeff goes for the mule kick, but that gets countered. Sheamus going for a brogue kick. He misses. Sling blade. Jeff Hardy goes up top to go for the swanton, but Sheamus pushes him off. Hardy then gets pulled down to the mat. White noise for a 2 count. Sheamus, though, goes for the knee of Jeff Hardy, puts him into a Texas cloverleaf. Hardy manages to get to the ropes. Hardy's, he's starting to... Jeff Hardy, I'm telling you, got beat. But Hardy's looking looking exhausted. Sheamus starts talking some crap to him, saying, I'm going to help you with those demons. Don't worry, I'm going to help you with the demons. Then hits him with the 10 beats of the Bowery. Jeff Hardy, though, fights back. They're in the corner. Jeff Hardy's fighting back. Hits a twist of fate. Goes up top. Hits the swanton bomb, only, though, to get a 2 count. Both men roll to the outside. Hardy decides to run the barricade. We've seen him do it before. Running the barricade, gets hit with a brogue kick on the outside. Sheamus tosses him back in the ring, hits him with another brogue kick, and the victory. The match was good. Far exceeded my expectations. I was wrong about Jeff Hardy winning this match as being his redemption. Maybe they're going to go with this longer. I'm not really sure. But the match was good. I don't need to see this match. I don't need to see this match again. I think this feud is good. It's done. We can just move on, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Kayla Braxton interviews The Miz and Morrison, who say they don't have time for any media. She tells them about the stipulation that was added earlier. They get mad, but then they play it off, try to play it cool. Says, Morrison's all like, "Oh, well, I'd much rather see Miz as champion than Braun Strowman." And then you get Otis and Mandy Rose, who come up and tease fashion. Raw Women's Championship, Asuka versus Nia Jax. This is Asuka's first title defense. This match, I felt this match got sloppy at times, especially the first half of this match. Asuka with some strikes, moving quickly, trying to apply as many submission holds as you can, but Nia trying to play into her strength. A big clothesline by Nia. Asuka, though, goes for the armbar, slips down, isn't able to hold on, then gets clotheslined out of, Nia then slows the pace, using some big power moves. Asuka trying to fight back, but a big slam by Nia. She picks her up and slams her hard. She only gets a 2 count. Nia applies a hold, but Asuka gets out of that, get her in a guillotine. A counter of a shitty-looking jackhammer by Nia Jax for a 2 count. And that moved, it looked like she just basically dropped onto the legs of Asuka. And it looked rough. It looked rough with the landing. Asuka counters a Samoan drop from Nia Jax, gets her some kicks, hits her with a hip attack, gets a 2 count. Nia hits a sit-out powerbomb, only gets a 2 count. Nia runs into the corner. Asuka moves. Nia going into the post. Asuka goes up top, gets knocked down off the top rope. Asuka then goes for an armbar over the ropes, but she slips and then tries to pull Nia. It looked slippy. It just looked bad. That spot looked really bad. But both women fighting on the outside. You hear the referee get to 8, 9. Asuka with a big spin kick, knocking Nia down. They both end up getting counted out. Afterwards, Asuka running hip attack on the outside, and that's basically how it ends. Asuka retains due to a double count out. God, I hope this doesn't mean they're going to carry on this feud. Like, I don't want to see Charlotte take her on, but I do not want to see this continue. I seriously do not. MVP backstage. He is on the phone, ordering some champagne, talking about security. But big celebration for Bobby Lashley, being the new WWE champion. Lana walks up to him, says, she wants him to know that if it wasn't for her, this being the biggest night of Bobby's, career, 13 years for him to get here, that's because of her. She's the reason. MVP cuts her off, says, look, I'm not the person you want to talk to, about this. You should be talking to your husband. He's the one who's had you stay backstage. But you won't talk to him because you won't want to hear what comes out of his mouth. Ooh, sick burn. Braun Strowman versus The Miz and John Morrison in a handicap match for the Universal title. This match was a joke. Straight up, this match was a fucking joke. I didn't think it was fun. I didn't enjoy it, and I thought it was a joke. Honestly, Miz and Morrison come out to debut their new music video. Hey. Moving on. But of course, Braun Strowman's intro, cuts it off, everything, the steam, flashing lights, cool. A lot of quick tags in and out. Morrison, he looked great, especially when he was with Braun. The way he was able to just get in and out and just kind of move around so agile and stuff with Braun. It really, like, the contrast of the two looked fantastic together. Miz with some shots and a kick. Braun Strowman no-sells it. He tries to tag in Morrison, but Morrison's already down. So the Miz gets shoved into John Morrison once he's back up on the apron. They do end up actually getting Braun Strowman down. Lots of frequent tags. A nice, beautiful springboard enziguri by John Morrison. A diving baseball slide by the Miz to the outside. And then a corkscrew dive by John Morrison to the outside. They did slow the pace, did some double team moves, hit a nice big double team DDT. Some it kicks by the Miz. Braun comes back, chops, elbows, a big boot. Morrison is tagged. He does a nice kick and a big enziguri off of the ropes. You get a skull-crushing finale stomp. John Morrison goes for the pin. Miz then pulls him off. So you see a little bit of the tension. Either man wanting to do their thing. John Morrison, though, he gets knocked off to the outside by Braun Strowman. Miz coming off the top he doesn't come off the top. Miz ends up getting choke slammed. John Morrison springboard off the top, gets hit with a big uppercut. Then a running power slam by your champion, Braun Strowman, onto the Miz. 1, 2, 3. Braun Strowman, he retains the championship. Look, I am very, very disinterested in this match. I did not care for this match. It's not to say I don't care about Braun Strowman, but look, let's just go ahead. Let's go get to the Fiend. All right, much like Nia Jax and Asuka, I just want this to continue. I don't want this to continue. I want it to be done, over with. I don't care who he feuds with next on SmackDown. Let it be Sheamus. I don't give a shit. I just want to move on. Caleb Braxton now interviews the new Intercontinental Champion who had a fantastic match. Go check out my SmackDown review. That was a fantastic match. Hear all my thoughts on that. But she interviews AJ Styles, who says that, he is the greatest WWE champion, so he should have the greatest celebration, and that's what he's going to do this week on SmackDown. Says Daniel Bryan, he could learn something. He's always about, fighting for opportunities. He's about taking them. He says he's not saying Daniel Bryan's not one of the greatest, lace up his boots, but he is simply not phenomenal. In a match that I very much was looking forward to, Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley, MVP, of course, with Lashley at ringside. This match even exceeded my expectations, and I was actually interested in this match. This was a great story. Bobby Lashley, 13 years of not having the opportunity that he was wanting, finally getting that opportunity at Backlash. MVP at the beginning of this match, he's in Drew's face, touching the championship. Drew, kind of shoves him. Lashley locks in the full Nelson, holds it forever. Drew already out the gate, hurt, unable to, really get going at first. Nice suplex by Bobby Lashley for only a 2 count. Lashley, though, keeps working over Drew McIntyre, using a lot of big moves and submissions. Great looking Northern Light suplex for only a 2 count by Lashley. Lashley, though, continues to mess and beat up Drew. Lashley, though, does go to lift Drew McIntyre, who does escape, clotheslines him over the top rope, and rams him into the barricade. MVP did with the distraction onto Drew, allowing Lashley to again take advantage. Ends up dropping him on the mat and then picking him up and ramming him face first into the post. Lashley runs to Drew into the corner. Drew counters, hits him with a belly. I'm sorry, not into the corner. He runs at him on the outside. Drew counters, belly to belly into the barricade, then hits him with a suplex also onto the outside. Back in the ring, Drew McIntyre is starting to build some momentum. Huge spine buster by Drew McIntyre for only a 2 count. Then Lashley with a spine buster of his own, followed up by a flatliner. Both moves only getting him a 2 count. Lashley setting up for a full Nelson. Drew, though, trying to keep it from being locked in. Doesn't end up finally escaping it. They fight into the corner. Lashley tries to lift up Drew. Drew, though, gets underneath him, lifting him up on his shoulders, and then hits him with a reverse Alabama slammer. Only for a 2 count. Lashley, though, does lock in a crossface. Drew, though, gets up to his feet. Looks like he's going for a tombstone. That gets countered by Lashley into an ankle lock. Lashley, though, Drew ends up getting out of that. A spear attempt by Lashley, which actually gets locked into a Kimura by Drew McIntyre. Lashley, though, getting to the ropes to escape. That was actually really good, smooth, from start to finish, the transition, everything. Big suplex by Drew off of the top rope. Superplex, both landed pretty hard down on the bottom. You got kip up by Drew McIntyre, who you could tell is pretty much worn down by this point. He goes for the Claymore. That gets countered into a spear by Bobby Lashley. He gets only a 2 count. For some reason, and I asked this, what is her purpose? Lana decides to come out, gets on the apron, starts arguing with the referee. I don't know why, but she's arguing with the damn referee. Lashley, though, ends up, almost running into Lana. He avoids, turns around, gets hit with the Glasgow kiss. That knocking him into Lana, who knocks her off, who falls into the arms of MVP, who was yelling at her this whole time she needed to leave. Lashley then ends up hitting with a Claymore for the 3 count. Drew McIntyre retains the WWE Championship. Where do they go from here? I actually would not be opposed to a rematch between these two teams. Whether or not it will happen, I couldn't tell you. But the match, again, far exceeded my expectations. I enjoyed this match from start to finish. Again, I think the story was good. I think this is basically saying that Lana and Bobby are going to break up. That this was going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. She's going to end up divorced and then probably eventually wrote off TV. Then they did a recap for the kickoff show for the United States Championship. I did not watch it because I didn't watch the show till this morning. Apollo Crews ended up retaining the title after Kevin Owens, got Angel Garza off the apron, allowing for Apollo to hit that pop-up spinning powerbomb thing that he does. Okay, so they said we were supposed to have a Raw Tag Team Championship match. We did not get that. What we did get was much, much worse. We were sitting here, me and sidekick Susie, and I asked her, I said, okay, if you were someone who had never watched wrestling, and this was like your first time watching in a long time, what would be your impression? And she said it. This would be garbage. This would be garbage to her. The Street Profits and the Viking Raiders are on the outside brawling. And they're smashing things. They break Braun's car window. Ha ha ha. They just kind of go to the back. This was no doubt a comedy segment, but this segment was just terrible. I mean, I'm sure there were people who found it funny, but for me, I told you all I was tired. I mean, this thing had flashbacks to competitions, axes and bowling balls and shields and golf clubs and ninjas. They had fucking ninjas that were led by Akira Tozawa. And then they had this big, 10-foot tall ninja. And then these guys end up calling themselves, what was it? The Viking Prophets? I have said for weeks, anything you can do, I could do better. The whole thing was just plumb dumb to me. I admit, this past week, I thought was funny. The week before, I even laughed a little bit. But these guys, I mean, you had Ivar at one point calling his turkey leg like fucking Thor's hammer and picking it up and eating it. They all open a dumpster, and you see some memories of Ivar when he's told, oh, you're cute, but Eric, not so much. And then the referee, Jessica, coming up and saying, hey, your guys' match next. Oh, Ivar, you're cute, but Eric, not so much. This was like a whole bag of ass. And I didn't get the point of it. Why was this on my TV? Where did the ninjas come from? When did these guys have develop special abilities? Did they fucking go to Xavier's school for gifted youngsters? What was this? We cut out a match to have this? Oh my God. I don't know what to say. I honestly believe my brain is broken after this. After watching that, I seriously questioned whether or not I wanted to even review Backlash. I'm just saying. Main event time. Edge versus Randy Orton. The greatest wrestling match ever. Was it the greatest wrestling match ever? Well, stuff like that is subjective. If you think it was the greatest wrestling match, then I would say good for you for finding something that you love. Personally, I still think the AJ Styles Daniel Bryan match was better. That's just purely my opinion. But they said before the match started they were going to enhance this, right? Enhanced noise or whatever. The audio was going to be better. They were going to do unique angles and this and that. And there were some cool camera angles through the match. One spot being after the superplex. It was a neat little angle. I think they had a camera up top. Fuck. I'm not really sure. But they started piping in crowd noise through this whole match because, oh, this should be seen in front of thousands of people, but it's not. You're adding in pipe noise. If you're going to add in the pipe noise, then do it for every match. I mean, this, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, it was weird hearing a crowd that was not there. That was weird enough. But I adjusted to it. It didn't bother me too much. It was what it was. But Howard Finkel's voice being used from previous introductions with these guys kind of messed with me, right? But again, sure, you had referee Charles, Little Nate in the old powdered blue shirt and the bow tie. I don't get that. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't change the ropes into the old red, white, and blues, the old logo. And I mean, yes, this is supposed to be a. Oh, fuck. This is supposed to be a straight up, like, one-on-one wrestling match. But they tried to make it like a throwback to something. Like, they did throwback moves at the match. Everything. I would say this was my gripes. Now, I said, no way this is going to be the greatest wrestling match ever. And I still don't think it was. My opinion. But, damn if they didn't really try. They really, really did try. And I did not know this. Apparently, Edge got hurt in this match, and he tore his tricep. I did not even realize it watching. I probably will go back and relook at Edge's arm. That really sucks because, well, my SummerSlam prediction's out the window. So, yeah. But the match wasn't bad. It was actually really, really great. Just not the greatest. And I will stick to Daniel Bryan, AJ better. Mainly because of title, prestige, etc. I took notes, man, but there's so much stuff that happened. So I'm not going to read all the notes because I'll be here for another hour because of all the notes that I took. But you had, so at the beginning, some nice, little back and forth action going on. Some beautiful arm drags by Edge, but Randy Orton eventually, after two of them, stopping and Edge falling down. And you had Orton just kind of baiting Edge, trying to test his confidence, Edge trying to go for a move, and then Randy Orton just kind of no-selling or getting away from it, not allowing Randy to really do much of anything. A lot of groundwork and some counters. Orton, like I said, just kind of playing around with Edge. You had a spot where there's like a little game of cat and mouse. Edge getting in the ring, out of the ring, and eventually hitting a drop kick on the outside to Randy Orton. Orton, though, with a big uppercut, starts to work the neck of Edge, which he does throughout this match. Edge then drop kicks Randy Orton, going straight into a hammerlock, working the shoulder of Randy Orton, because we know Randy Orton has had a litany of shoulder injuries in the past. Orton with a waistlock from behind, Edge, getting his arm in there to counter into another arm drag. You get a nice little head scissors and out of the corner by Edge, who then causes Orton to go to the outside. These guys fighting up top. Edge with some big headbutts, knocking Orton back first onto the apron, and then a big clothesline to the outside. You happen to see Randy Orton is bloody at this point. Edge getting dropped onto the announce table, just more of Orton working him over. Edge, doing what he can. Randy Orton going for the Three Amigos, though. Edge only getting out after two, then hitting, Three Amigos of his own, paying tribute to Eddie Guerrero. You'll never see me do that again. I mean, the amount of stuff that these guys did throughout this match, man, it was freaking crazy. Let's see, where was I? So, yes, crossface by Edge, an RKO attempt by Randy Orton, but Edge counters that into the anti-venom, which is his little neck and arm choke that he's been doing. Orton with a modified back/neck breaker, really working on the neck, onto Edge. Orton continuing to work on him. Again, the crowd noise, man. Edge, though, gets dropped back first onto the announce table after being slammed headfirst into the steps. you got both men just like they're down on the ground, and they just start chopping, knife edge chops back and forth to each other. They get to their feet, continuing. They're into the corner. Orton finally ducks one, gets behind Edge, drop kicks him. A huge superplex. Again, that really neat angle happened. That only got them a 2 count. Double crossbody in the middle of the ring. They collide and they fall down. Orton does go for his draping DDT off the top rope. Edge gets down, counters that into an execution. Then a rising knee and then a running knee by Edge. Then a running baseball slide elbow for a 2 count. Diving crossbody by Edge for a 2 count. Spear countered into a schoolboy by Randy Orton. Then that gets countered into a crossface, which then gets countered into a crucifix-like pin. Some more back and forth. You get a sit-out powerbomb by Randy Orton for a 2 count. Finally, Orton hits the draping DDT. He goes to set for an RKO, but that gets countered into an unprettier. That gets countered into an RKO attempt. That gets countered into the Edge-O-Matic, into the pin for only a count of 2. I'm telling you. Edge goes for the spear, but a leapfrog by Randy Orton. Then who goes for another RKO attempt? That gets into the unprettier. Edge ends up getting a 2 count. Randy Orton then hits the pedigree, which gets countered. It gets a 2 count. Edge goes for a rock bottom. He gets a 2 count. So these guys throwing everything out, including other people's moves. You get some more back and forth. Randy Orton, though, setting up for the DDT. Edge drops Orton down across the ropes with a guillotine. Sunset flip attempt, 2 count. Series of pin attempts. RKO by Randy Orton. He only gets a count of 2. Orton goes for the punt, but Edge gets up, spears him, then spears him for a second time, only to get 2. So these guys, they're just like war of attrition by this point. These guys, they fight to get up to their feet. Get an Irish whip reversal by Randy Orton, who then gets hit with a spine buster by Edge. Then Randy Orton into an RKO after a springboard by Edge for a 2 count. Orton talking trash to Edge, locks in the anti-venom, which is what Edge is calling that little chokehold. A low shot by Randy Orton into the groin. Then he punt kicks Edge, getting the 3 count, allowing for Randy Orton, as predicted, to win this match. And I believe at some point this is going to continue. And now they're just going to use the injury as an angle to make it even more. After the match was over, Randy Orton leans in to tell Edge, hey, go home, Adam. Go home to Beth and your girls to be with them. And then tell them Uncle Randy says hi. Medics come out with the stretcher. Edge refuses to get on it. And that's how Backlash basically ended. Again, I don't think Backlash was a bad show. It had a couple moments, you could say, that were meh. But overall, I think Backlash was a really damn good fucking show. So I give this show a 7.5 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10. I think it was a pretty damn good show. But I would love to know what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments. What was your favorite match? Did you enjoy the show? Did you not enjoy the show? Please let me know. I don't know if I'm going to do Raw tonight, to be completely honest with you. So if you don't see a Raw review tonight, I took a night to myself. I've been busy, guys, and I am tired. I'm trying to get back onto the reviews, but I may just take a night, get stuff prepped for a video later in the week. But you guys will see me for NXT and NXT and Dynamite this week for sure. So that will actually happen. But Raw tonight is up in the air. We'll just see how I'm feeling come time when the show's over. So thank you, guys. You guys can go down to any of the links for our social media down below. Follow us, like us, share the channel, subscribe to the channel, help us grow. Thank you guys so very much for everything. You all are awesome. I will see you guys later. Have a great Monday. Enjoy Raw tonight. And remember, join the nation.